And we're back after a break. I do feel relaxed, I gotta say.
You had to have it.
I needed it because you gave me so much information that
It's a lot.
really got me thinking.
What happened before? Do you remember any of that stuff we talked about?
Are you quizzing me right now?
I mean, a little bit. Old first grade school teacher, kind of need to make sure you followed.
Okay.
Make sure all of you followed. I can talk for days about trade compliance.
And that's why we're here today. But before I ask you all of the questions that I have, I want to start at the beginning. Let me get my first point. We did talk about trade compliance.
Yes.
So that's 1 point, right?
Yes, 1 point.
But what I do remember and what really stuck with me is the concept of country of origin, which is where the product became in its form.
Yep.
Like sustainable,
Substantial transformation.
Okay, almost got it. And then I remember that the documentation is important for multiple reasons, but to summarize it down, it's to protect the customers, the companies, and the countries, right?
That's right. Trade compliance is like a seatbelt, right? You're going to put it on as you're getting ready to move your stuff into the country, and you're grabbing all the bits and pieces of everything you need to get there.
Now we're in the U.S., right?
We
now
are
we
here.
made
The
it.
boat
We're finally
made
where.
it. The boat made it. Our clock is ticking. So we are now dealing with all the timelines of getting that product out of the port. So you've got vessel dwelling time, so how long that vessel can sit before it's unloaded. You've got container dwell time, which is how long the container can sit there before it has to get out of the terminal. You've got truck dwelling time too. The truck that's going to come in and pick up that container, how long is it going to have to load and unload? That clock is just going, and your trade compliance team is pulling together all the paperwork in the background to make sure that those times stay really short.
Because all I'm thinking about is dwell time sounds expensive.
Money, money, and more money.
And more money. But Danielle, so we're doing all of this. Like, what's the end goal? Like, what are you trying to achieve?
Well, I want to get my employer the stuff that they bought, but it's customs approval. We need customs to say it's okay to bring this product into the U.S.
Oh, like if you or I travel internationally and we're trying to get through customs. Got it. Okay.
Except, well, TSA pre-check kind of exists in the transportation world too, but not quite the same there. But yeah, it's like waiting in those really long lines, making sure you can get in.
Would that be dwell time?
I mean, you can call it that from now on.
I'm gonna call it that from now on, for sure. So after you've got customs approval, basically like all that documentation, everything you're done, you're like, buy or?
Well, the job's not over yet, right? I mean, we have products received, people are buying stuff still. I mean, we're still diving into the supply chain, but trade compliance needs to hang on to all of that record. So all that stuff we talked about in the first episode, right? All the beginning from melting and pouring and all of that stuff, all the way to this point, we need to have that record, and that record has to stay alive for up to 5 years, sometimes a little longer.
I'm seeing some full file cabinets somewhere in every building or every business.
Or a full server, right? You can PDF this stuff these days.
Look at me aging myself here. All right, Danielle, so we got our documents in a row, and I learned now that we have to keep them for a while, but how do we now get the product to where it needs to go? It's somewhere in the port, so it needs to get out, right?
It has to get out, yes.
Okay.
You need to find a truck driver to come and get that container. And it depends on what you're doing from there, right? If you've got a full container of product, you can bring the container straight to your dock and unload it. If you've got less than container and you've shared it with other people, then it has to go somewhere and get broken apart so that it can get delivered.
Like shared offices, but shared containers,
That's
basically.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay, got it.
Pray that the stuff that you put in the container works with the stuff that someone else put in the container, yes. The goal is to get it to its final purchaser, to get it to the person who bought that stuff. That's what we're doing now.
It's on its last leg?
It's on its last leg.
Okay. So we made it to the last leg.
We have to stop.
We have
I'm
to stop
sorry.
here.
I don't even know where we're at anymore. Sorry.
Is there anything in this step that trade compliance still needs to do, or are you like, job done?
Well, we're still gathering all the paperwork, right? So Customs does create documents. They create a 7501 form. We have to keep all of that stuff. So we're finalizing all of that. We get a little bit of a break while it transits inside the U.S., but once it gets to that dock and they're receiving that product in, it picks back up because we have to make sure that what we said we brought into the country, we haven't seen it yet, is actually what was brought into the country. We don't have more than what we said, that we've paid the right amount of money to U.S. Customs to get it here.
So Customs does their inspection and then you do the inspection.
Then we do the inspection. Yes, we're kind of wrapping up that bow. Hopefully it's before you pay the supplier, because you want to make sure that all that money makes perfect sense, right?
Sounds about right. Danielle, I think now we've established that trade compliance professionals have job security, because you're already doing so much. What else could there be left?
Well, we have to remember what's happened through this whole train of events. We have to remember this for a lot of years. So keeping a record of that is how you do that is really important. I mean, I don't know how many people remember what they even ate for dinner last night, let alone what they entered into the country 5 years ago. So we're just putting a bow on this entire thing so that if I do have to pull this file out 5 years from now, I have everything I need right there.
I'm gonna start keeping dinner records from now on. Can I call that trade compliance?
Sure. Where was the food made?
No, Danielle, thank you so much. I feel like I learned so much. I hope you learned so much. And with that, if you allow me to pun, I will package, label, and obtain release on this episode.
I approve.
Because those questions are sometimes a little like, how does a product get anywhere? I do declare that this episode is over. Just say 3 times and it's over.